Hey friends, welcome back to a new video. If you've watched my videos before, you know that living intentionally and mindfully is something that is really important to me, and that is something that I want to teach you guys through my videos. And with that, with living mindfully and intentionally, I think comes treating your surroundings, the people you spend time with, and the place that you are in with respect, and being very mindful of what your actions actually do. So with this comes being kind and considerate to the environment, which is something that I also really care about and I want to share more. So today I wanted to share with you a few tips on easy zero-waste swaps that you can do. Now these go beyond the basic carrying around a reusable water bottle and making sure to bring your shopping tote bag. These are things that I think nobody really talks about, or I feel like nobody really talks about, and I think are really easy swaps. On a personal level, I know it can feel very disheartening to be like, I don't feel like this does anything. Me saving one piece of plastic doesn't really do anything. But if everybody did what they can do, made a small effort, I think it can really make a big difference. It is all about changing collectively, starting with yourself. We're all responsible for ourselves. We should look at what we can do before we look at what others are supposed to do. And if we all think like this, all start with ourselves, then we can make such a big impact. I truly believe in that. So the swaps I'm going to share with you guys are swaps that I've personally already made or recently made. So this one I made somewhat recently, and I've been so stoked about this one. I even shared this one with my dad, and he's really stoked about it, and that is switching out your soap or shampoo for solid soap or shampoo. So when it comes to washing our hands, I know a lot of us like the liquid soap that we can pump out, but there's just so much packaging within that, and it's just so much better to go back to really simple old soap that has been around for ages. That is a block of soap. Make sure that the ingredients of the solid soap that you buy is really clean and really natural. And soap like that usually barely comes with any packaging, maybe a strip of paper that wraps around it, but that's it. So that's really nice, and it's often so much more affordable, often less fragrance, and just better for everyone involved. Now, something that was a little more difficult for me is solid shampoo. I had tried solid shampoo in the past and I wasn't a fan at all. The one that I had tried did not lather up at all, and the hair was just it felt, I don't know how to describe it, felt very grippy, like it wasn't slippery at all, and I just wasn't able to lather up the soap. I wasn't able to spread out the soap, so I had decided not to try solid shampoo again, ever. But then I came across a brand called Foamy. This is not sponsored at all. I just really love their soap, and I was really intrigued by the name because it's called Foamy, so it's supposed to foam, and that was my main concern with solid shampoo, and it does. It foams so well, and I feel like it works so much better with my hair, and it is zero plastic. It comes just with in a small carton, and it's just so much more sustainable. You don't have those plastic shampoo bottles that you have to keep buying. And I mean, I just prefer this shampoo in general, regardless of the packaging. And this is also the shampoo that I've gotten my dad on. And I even want to take the solid soap thing a step further. And when our dish soap in the kitchen, which currently is a liquid dish soap, runs out, I want to switch over to a solid dish soap, which I've also seen quite a number of times now. So things like solid soap, especially solid shampoo, is really easy to get your hands on nowadays because we're becoming so much more and more conscious about the environment, about the impact that we have, the trash that we produce. So there is quite a lot of solid shampoo options out there. I'm sure there is one for everyone. The second thing that is really easy to swap out is cling film. Cling film is so bad for the environment, just sheets on plastic that I'm pretty sure is not recyclable and that will just burn and go into the atmosphere. So you've probably heard of beeswax paper that a lot of people use instead, and I do also have beeswax paper that works really great, but I do suggest going the soy wax route, which also just better for the environment, better for the bees. But also I found that you don't have to buy those fancy beeswax papers or soy wax papers, which sometimes can be a little bit expensive, but you can just place a plate on top of whatever you're trying to cover. We do this a lot of times, and you don't have to wrap anything additional on there. It's just so much faster, easier. Sometimes we also like to just store things in Tupperware or store things in pots, since pots often have a lid on top. So it's so handy. That is a quick and simple swap where you don't have to buy anything new and can just use what you already have at home. Now coming to period products. I've always been a pad girl. I like using pads. I was never a fan of tampons. I always had anxiety about whether it sits right, whether I'd forget about it, whether I'd get toxic shock syndrome, and I have so much anxiety around tampons that I just prefer pads. And our body is supposed to expel the blood, and that's just what I prefer. And I think for a few years now, I've discovered period undies. The ones I specifically use are from the brand Moody Body. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But again, this is not sponsored. I just really, really like their period underwear. I haven't tried others, but these really work for me. I've gotten even more this year. And they're just so leak-proof, it's insane, and it's so much more comfortable because it just feels like you're wearing normal underwear, and they truly soak up a lot. And this year I've even gotten their super high-waisted night like for super heavy flows or for night flows that feel like go all the way your back, so you're sure not to leak there. Yeah, the only place it sometimes leaks is around the side of the underwear, but only when it's already pretty full. So highly recommend those undies, and it's so easy to wash. You just rinse them out a little bit under cold water and then throw them into your washing machine, and that's it. And it's so much better for the environment. Pads are so bad. There's plastic and paper or cotton mixed into it that you cannot recycle. That again is just burned, and yeah, not too great for the environment. The next simple swap we've done is to go from paper napkins to cloth napkins. This one is so easy to do. We didn't even buy new cloth napkins. Luckily, my boyfriend's mom, she had far too many than she could use. And also sometimes on flea markets, you find the most beautiful embroidered cloth napkins, and it just feels so much more luxurious and high quality, and it's just better for the environment. We have white ones that are really pretty, and you don't have to worry about staining because, well, I haven't really experienced any staining. I just throw them into the wash and they come out super clean, and you don't have to repurchase napkins again and again. Better for the environment, it doesn't cut down any additional trees, and it feels so much more fancy, let's be honest. The next thing that I've taken care to switch out is vitamins, especially when it comes to the packaging of vitamins. So I do like to take vitamins, especially as a vegan. I make sure to take B12, but in addition to that, I also take omega-3 vitamins and D3 vitamins. And when I was taking a bunch of vitamins before, I noticed all the packaging, these pill packagings where you pop out the pills. I felt like these must be so bad for the environment. It's aluminum foil, I think, glued together with plastic, and I'm sure you cannot recycle that properly. And there's not many vitamins in one package. So I was buying package after package after package, and I was feeling so guilty and bad for producing so much trash. So I made sure to look for a brand that carried the vitamins in a glass jar, which I luckily did find. And for example, for the B12, we found a liquid form of B12 where you drop B12 drops into your drinking water, and that also comes in a glass packaging. So try to switch either to something where the vitamins come in a glass jar or in a liquid drop form, which sometimes is also available. So we just save all the plastic when it comes to the pill packaging. So if there is an option for any vitamins or even pills that you take, maybe try to see if there is a different type of packaging. Of course, sometimes I think hygienic reasons or specific formulation reasons, they need to be packaged separately, but I think especially with vitamins, that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. So just look into it, research into it, try to do your best, and as long as we're doing our best, that is definitely good enough. If everyone did their best, the world would be such a better place. And last but not least, this one maybe is a little bit of a niche thing, but I'm still going to mention it because for me it was truly a game changer. And that is that I swapped out my cotton swabs that I used to clean my ears with. And I know you're not supposed to do that, I know that, but I don't know, it's so satisfying to clean your ears, and I love doing it, even though I know you're not supposed to. So for all of you out there who can relate to that, who like cleaning your ears with cotton swabs, even though you know you're not supposed to, I have found something that is a zero waste version of that, which I think is so awesome. And it basically is like this tiny metal like scooper, and I know you're thinking, well, metal, that's going to be really dangerous in your ear, but in my experience, you can't go that far. At least with my ear, I found that it seems to get a little narrower the further down you go, so you can't even go that far in. I mean, you shouldn't try, obviously, but it's like this little metal scooper where you can like scoop out your earwax. I'm sorry, this is gross, but I think with this method, there's also not the danger of you pushing more earwax in, since it isn't like this dense thing. So yeah, and then you just wash it out under some water and soap and you're good to go. And it's a tiny little thing you can bring on your travels. I used to bring like a bunch of cotton swabs on my travels to clean my ears with, and now I just need this tiny little thing. And it was so affordable and better for the environment, so it was a win-win for all. And yeah, that was it for my zero waste swaps for you today that go beyond the basics that we've all already heard about. Hopefully there's something here within the things that I've mentioned that are really helpful for you that you didn't really consider. Let me know in the comments down below which of these swaps is the one you're going to try next. I'd be really intrigued. And if you have any other swaps that you think a lot of people forget or don't really talk about, leave them in the comments down below. I also want to produce as little waste as possible in my life, so I'm always looking for new things. I get so inspired every time I see animals for some reason. When I see animals out in the wild, or just generally animals, they have no possessions, they just have what's on their body, and they're so in tune with nature, and they don't produce all this waste and trash like us humans do. Us humans are the only species that is destroying the earth and nature at such a rapid rate. It's so sad, and every time I see an animal, I just aspire to be like an animal that is in tune with nature and lives so minimalistically and doesn't destroy the nature around it, but lives in harmony with it. Yeah, so that's kind of also what inspired this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more intentional living here on my channel. I hope to see you again soon, and have a lovely day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Ah, my foot fell asleep.